The other day, I was contacted by the guys at Catch who said,
"Here, young'un, we got a league exclusive booked if you fancy it. Catch 22.
To which I replied, "You want me to catch how many?" So here we are in Norfolk at the venue, Catch 22, where the challenge is simple: catch 22 carp. Yeah, imaginative challenge, isn't it? Catch 22 from Catch 22. All that and so much more to come. Will I be successful or fall short? One thing's for certain though, it was gonna be a full-on session either way. I've got nothing left. I arrived at Catch 22 on the Sunday evening and slept next to the car so that I could get cracking first thing in the morning. Once up, it didn't take long for me to spot signs of feeding fish. Let the challenge begin. Well, I've just been walking past this swim and I've had to stop because there are loads and loads of bubbles. Too much to ignore. So I'm going to go back to the car, grab the bare minimum stuff and just come back here, ping a rod out and see if I can get some, maybe little mesh bags, something like that. Straight boilie onto the bottom because they are grubbing around like mad out there. And it's just too good of an opportunity to ignore. So it's exactly what we're going to do. As the fish were feeding so heavily, I didn't want to spook them, so I used a simple technique of casting beyond the bubbles, then quickly reeling back so that my rig lowered down subtly through the water and landed where the fish were feeding without spooking them. And that is the result of 3 minutes in the right place. I saw some bubbling. If I'm honest, on the way to the toilet this morning, I thought if it's still there when I get back, I'm going to grab the minimal kit and ping a rod out. And I'm so glad I did. Didn't even have a chance to get the second rod ready. We heard tick, 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 tick. And this one was away. And I actually think there's not as many mirrors. Well, I know there's not as many mirrors as commons in here. So this is quite a special capture. A 26 £10. It's a nice weighty fish, but as you can see, you've got the frame on it to be something quite a bit bigger. But what a start to the day. Drove up last night, didn't fish, made the most of a morning bite window in this swim, and we've already got one. Happy days. Let's get it back. Well, getting that first fish of a session is always the most important in my mind, and getting it in such a quick manner is awesome because it just means that that blank is lifted off my shoulders. I can enjoy the rest of the session knowing that I've already caught one, and anything from here on in is a bonus. Of course, I'm going to do my best to catch as many fish as possible because that's why we go fishing. And I've actually decided to move to the complete other end of the lake from where I just caught that fish because the wind's pushing up here. It's a nice breeze pushing in. I've got a tree-lined bank that is only fishable from this swim and one on the very other end of the lake because this whole bank in front of me, this tree-lined margin, is a nature reserve area, so you can't actually access it from anywhere other than here and one other swim. I've got lily pads to my right, jokers to the left, and here I am at the top of the lake. That was a terrible reference, I know. I've done this take too many times, that's staying in. And I'm going to start off with a lead marker rod, find some spots, cast along that tree line. I do know that there's a bar to my left because I've got the topography map of this place, and I have already seen fish coming in and out of the pads. As the weather's meant to be 26 degrees today, I have got my surface controller stuff, so if I see an opportunity to get them on the top, of course, I'm going to take it because I love catching them off the top. And we're just going to go from there. Now, a bit more about the venue itself, actually. This is Catch 22, and it's actually been shut for about 3 years, and it's now reopened under new ownership or running as Lake Exclusives, which is exactly what this trip is. There's actually several others on here making videos. You've got the Jedi Carper Dad, Craig Mortimer's going to be there somewhere, and then you've got a couple of guys from Catch are over on the smaller lake, which are doing a video on there as well. So there's a few of us on here making content, and I know there's been quite a few people already on here making content, so YouTube may be full of Catch 22 sessions very, very soon, but it's because it's back open, and it used to be quite a well-known fishery, and the fish are still in it. Lots to go at, and I'm looking forward to catching hopefully as many as I can. But I'm not going to do that by sitting here chatting to camera, so let's find some spots. Don the back brace, don't worry. I've learnt my lesson for overdoing it on sessions. That's going to go on to support myself doing all the casting, baiting up, hopefully lifting loads of fish. And this, tennis elbow. I don't even play tennis, but that's what I've got. My body, I'm 31, but it's falling apart. Oh, lots of fizzing's just come up as well. Let's fish up here. All 3 rods are out, ready to go, all on exactly the same setups. Rigs are ready, which I'll go through in a second. But as you would have saw, to start with, I got the marker rod, put a lead on, and just started casting them out. Now, there was one spot, which is just there on the corner. It's focused on me, I know, but it's well over 100 yards. There's a spot that the owner just told me about. It's the patrol route. I'll go around there. If I can get over there, it's a good spot. But honestly, my elbow's just not up for it. I can't cast there today, so I didn't even try. Well, I tried one cast, was nowhere near it, and came back closer in. But all along this tree line, it felt quite nice. And I found one spot just off a bush. It's just shy of 20 wraps, so comfortable distance, nice and gravelly around the front of the bush. Then I came a bit closer along, 12 wraps, right in a little pocket between the tree and the bank. Again, nice and clear. I've seen a few fish roll just off the reeds to the right here before it goes into the pads. Again, it's sort of rocky, gravelly, clay, silty. There's some harder bits, there's some softer bits. Either way, I'm pretty confident that all along there is quite nice to present. And then also looking at the topography of the lake, or the lake map that shows the depths, there is a bar that runs along basically straight out from this swim all the way across to the far marker over there. So I had a cast about, and sure enough, I found the bar, and it was like what I'm stood on right here, really, really gravelly, really firm, and probably only a few foot deep. So hitting the lead and then hitting the deck was almost exactly the same time. And with the weather that we've got, with 26-degree heat today, and even the nights aren't getting down much below 20, I don't think they're going to be going in deeper water. So one's going on the bar out there, and the other two are going to go along the tree line, maybe bait up a few other spots and see what happens. And that brings me on to bait, and that is isofish. Normally I mix my baits. I use cell and just switch arms. That one's going dead. Usually I mix my baits. I have cell and isofish. I like to do that because it's just different variation. But I've gone all-out fishy approach on this one. So fish meal, I've added some salmon oil to it. The smart liquids are really, really stinky. Some of the bait was actually soaking before I got here yesterday. I've got 15 mils, 10 mils, and chops that I've used through the Timu grinder thing. So that's still working for me. And that's gone out on all 3 spots. And I've actually used up most of that bucket, which in total was probably just over 6 kilos of bait in total. So each spot has had about 2 kilos of bait on top of them. And that was, I say, an hour ago now. I've been taking it fairly slow. As you know, I've caught fish, so I'm mellowed out a bit more. But I have now got the rigs ready to go. Sorry if I'm making you feel sick spinning you around, but I'm being proper vloggy style. And it's my usual go-to Gemini Tidy Boom. It's the 5.5 inch setup, and I've got 3 different hook baits. I'll run through this setup a bit more throughout the session, but for now I want to get the rods out. But I have got 3 different hook baits on. One is a wafter. What size is it? 18 mil, so quite a big bait. I know there's a lot of bream in here, and that's a dedicated wafter. Then I've got another one which is probably about a 12 mil isofish pop-up, super point pop-up fluoro one. And lastly is my go-to for this rig, which is the 50 mil bottom bait, which I've shaved off the top and added a sail quad to the top. So a bit of colour, a bit of buoyancy, kind of wafts, but then I cut the bottom of the 50 mil boilie off as well. So when it sits on the bottom, it sits a bit more flat and doesn't waft around so much. There's a little bit of buoyancy to make it a bit lighter, but it sits up nicely. There's something crawling up my arm. Go away. I have to switch arms again. Ooh. So there's 3 different hook bait choices there, but on the whole, it's all stinky, fishy stuff that's gone out there. I'm going to see what the fish are up to, what they want to take, and of course, switch baits over accordingly. I think that's up to speed. Should we get the rods out? Finally. And when I was younger, I used to game a lot. If there's one thing gaming taught me, is that if you find something illuminated like this, it's probably because it's the key item to a mission. So, this is going to be the first rig that goes out, and one last thing you'll notice that I've done, if I can get it to focus, is that I've added PVA to the hook. Just PVA tape, rather than foam nuggets or something like that. That's just to mask the hook point on the way down to make sure it's nice and protected. That melts away, leaves it perfect for a fish to come along and prick itself. Couldn't have gone any better. Don't know what that was, by the way. I don't know. I'm as confused as you are. Not the best netting I've ever done, but a carp after 2 bream in really quick succession. And I got a few little beeps a few minutes before this take. I was like, oh, am I going to be in for an afternoon of bream? But no, there are some carp amongst the bream. Not very big, but it's the second bite. Well, after 2 bream in quick succession, I was starting to worry that the next few bites were going to be the same. But this one definitely wasn't a bream on the take. It certainly wasn't a bream the way it thought. And sure enough, here we are, fish number 2. Lovely, lean, common. And actually, whilst this was resting in the net, as you already just saw, I had a second take as well, which is also now in the net, ready to be filmed. So, as quick as I had 2 bream, I then had 2 carp. So hopefully, with the rod back out there, there's some carp in that area, and we might get a few more. And there is the result of getting the rod out quickly after that first bite, because clearly some fish moved in, maybe pushed the bream out briefly, and getting that rod back out quickly meant that whilst that other fish was resting for 5 minutes in the net, this rod went off again. I had to quickly scramble to get another net together, but I managed it. And there's another mirror from the trip, so. And little liner on the same rod, so quickly get still.
Surprise, mother.
There we go. Gets back, as I think there may be some more to be had. With the bream seeming to have returned and stacks of carp cruising just below the surface in Ben's swim, also known as the Carper Dad on YouTube, I asked if he'd mind me coming down with my surface kit. He hadn't brought any surface gear himself, and I was sure we had a good chance of nicking a few off the top. Upon arriving in Ben's swim, he'd just managed one off the deck, but the sheer volume of carp cruising around simply couldn't be ignored. A few spoms of mixers laced with salmon oil soon had them slurping. After the usual spell of frustration, where the carp seemed to know exactly which bait carried a hook, one finally slipped up in an aggressive fashion, smashing the bait just after the recast. Let's see a fish. Oh! Yeah. Oh, he took that like a pike hitting a lure. To be honest, I think he's already spooked. Been hooked for the first time in at least 3 years. Hey. And there's a result of that pretty explosive take off the surface. This fish took like a pike hitting a lure. We've been trying for the last, I'd say, half an hour or so, to no avail. Just cast out waiting to see some signs of fish to bring the float back, and this thing just smashed it on the top. And yeah, fish number 4 of the trip, first one off the top. Been hard going since then, been trying to get them one as well. Who knows, there's always an opportunity to catch some fish off the top, and if there is, I'm going to take it. Happy days. Another belter off the top, just how I love to catch them. My 5th fish actually escaped the net, which is why you didn't see that one. Tried to get Ben one, unfortunately he lost the one that he hooked into. That's just the case with surface fish, and you win some, you lose some. It just got caught on a weed bed or something, and I've just stuck it out. Probably overstaying my welcome in this swim, poaching the fish off the top. And I'm glad I did, because this one, I shortened the hook link, trimmed down the hook bait, did everything I could to try and get a bite, so I just knew which one was the hook bait. And finally, with nothing else out of the bar mine, this one took. Oh, bigger. That surprised me. Surprised you as well. Did you jump? I leave him down there. And it's probably, I don't know, around the 16, 17 pound mark. Very welcome. And it's fish number 6. At the start of this session, I was joking saying 22 fish from catch 22, but 6 down. I was going to say it's a quarter of the way there. That's just over a quarter of the way there. I was thinking 24 would be a quarter of the way there. I'm just over a quarter of the way there. Returning to my swim, 3/11ths of the way to my target, I got the rods out for the evening, hoping my bream friends had finally vacated the area. But it's often the hope that kills you, and after a run of 6 bream, yes, 6, I called it a night, wound in, and decided that figuring out how I was going to get around these slimy things was tomorrow's problem. Proper nice fish. That is a nice fish. That's a bit better. Finally, not a bream. When I got back to my swim last night after having those fish off the top down with Ben, I had a run of about 5 bream, including the double take of bream. Wound the rods in at 11, got my head down, and had about 5 hours kip, up the first light, and got the rods back out. Bream, 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 bream. So I changed the hook baits to a double 50mm bottom bait, hard on the deck, and this was the first cast and the first result. There's a lovely, I don't know, 23, 24 pound mirror, not quite as big as yesterday's, but still a weighty fish and really, really nice looking fish as well. So I was hoping I was onto a winner, but whilst this fish was resting, I got the rod back out thinking, let's capitalise on it. I've had about 5 or 6 breams since catching this fish, so I think I'm going to have a little bit of a rethink on hook bait size. So I've gone from 50mm with a little cell quad topper to double 50mm bottom bait, because I've got this, and since then I've gone to an 18mm wafter with a 15mm topper, still getting bream. So, a bit of a rethink, but let's enjoy this fish while we've got it, and hopefully many more carp to come. I will show you both sides. It's a lovely, lovely carp. And there's the other side. Oh, you got a bit of a plant on your head there, buddy. Sorry about that. Lovely old mirror. I was rather hoping that after that hook bait change to double 15mm bottom baits, it would mean that I was going to get just carp from then on. But it's not been the case. I've still been getting bream. So I'll try bigger hook baits. I can try different hook baits. I could try pop-ups or whatever. But I think it's going to be mainly down to just getting through them, persevering, knowing that I'm going to get bream, but hope that the carp get to the rigs occasionally and I get some nice fish in amongst them. The one thing that's not changing, however, is the rig and presentation and leader and everything that I'm using on this session. So the rig, as I've already mentioned before, is my usual go-to for clear bottom presentation. I will have a link in the description on exactly how to tie this rig up and all the ins and outs as to why I have all these different components. But if you're new to the channel or you've not seen this rig before, it's pretty simple, and I think the camera's going to remain focused on me, so you'll have to see these cutaways. But it is a 5.5-inch Gemini tidy boom. Now this is a Ronnie rig setup, so you can tie these for Ronnies if you want to have pop-ups. I can use these as a pop-up presentation. I have done. If you've seen my linear session where I had a lot of fish and done my back in, you'll know that I use exactly this rig but had it set up in a pop-up configuration. Not much different other than the fact that when I use it as a pop-up, I don't have that little shot on the hook on there. Everything else is exactly the same. As you can see, this example setup that I've got right here has the two 15mm bottom baits on there, ready to go. A little bit of putty in the middle, and that helps pin it down. And the 5.5-inch is my preferred length because it's the shortest one out of the lot that Gemini do. They do 5.5, 7 and 9-inch, I think it is, but all of them are exactly the same. Really high breaking strain of 30 pound. It's 100% fluorocarbon with a refractive index rating of 1.42. What that means in basic terms, if you don't know anything about fluorocarbon, is it goes next to invisible in water, and this is as close to invisible as you can get. The technology using this is fused loop technology, so there's no knots per se in it. It's the material itself fused together, which is much stronger than any kind of conventional knot you can tie up. So they're super strong, super reliable, super uniformed, and that's what I like about them. That all of my rigs are exactly the same length and configuration and setup, so that there's no deviations in my rigs. The only difference being is the hook baits in this instance, or lead size, lead arrangement and things like that. And that brings me on to the lead arrangement. Now, you'll know if you've watched any of my other previous carp videos that I typically use tubing setup to a running ledger system. It's still a running ledger system. The lead clip there can run up and down on this setup. Try and get it focused for you. It can still run up and down there. I can pull the swivel into it for the bolt effect and then it can run. And if the carp needs to reject the lead, of course, tail rubber comes off and the lead will come off as well. But what you'll notice is I'm not using tubing on this session, as in fact, I've opted to use some fluorocarbon leaders. Now these are Geminis as well, so it all ties in nicely together. And the reason I'm using the leader is because where I'm fishing is a lot of tree-lined areas. There could be some pretty nasty snags under there, some rocks I can't see. Of course, using the marker lead, I can feel that what I'm casting onto feels pretty clear, hence the presentation of using this rig, and I've been getting bites. That's clearly fine. What I don't know is if there's any nasties down there, like fallen branches, mussel beds, things like that. I know there's some pads around, so I want something that's strong, abrasion resistance, and also sinks really well. And this is the same material that the boom is made of, so it's 100% fluorocarbon, same index rating, refractive index rating, next to invisible in water, sinks well, and it's just nice and strong. And again, it means that all three of my rods are exactly the same setup. There is no deviation, so any changes I'm going to make is going to be the hook baits, which I've already mentioned so far. Now these actually have a stronger breaking strain as well. It's 45-pound breaking strain on them, and this is, I'm going to have to check, I think it's 85 centimeters it is, so it's just shy of a meter long. So it's a good length of leader that it's not too long that it's hard to cast, but it's long enough that when this is lying down on the bottom, it should keep you nice and protected from anything, like I mentioned, that could damage normal line or tubing. Because when I use tubing, if it comes up against a branch, something rough that it runs on, especially because I use a running ledger system, it all just slides up the line, so it leaves my naked line exposed to be damaged or cut off and things like that. So that's why I've opted for a leader on this trip. Again, because it's a venue I've not fished before, is something just gives me a bit more peace of mind. In the future, if I find that where I'm fishing doesn't have any snags or whatever, and I change the presentation, that's completely up to me. But this has been working very nicely so far, and I keep on using this, and hopefully, while I keep tweaking the hook bait choices, we will get to something that works more in favour of the carp and less in favour of the bream, because they are getting rather testing. Well, after running through the rigs and the hook bait changes, two of the rods are still out on the original hook baits, and I'm glad I left them and not changed them, because this, which is the left hand rod, which is out to that shallow bar, has just absolutely belted off. Having said that, I got the rig straight back out, and within 2 minutes there was a bream on the end. So I think I'm going to stick with my preferred hook bait on the spots that haven't been too much for trouble for now, and just keep the bigger hook baits on the spot which is producing lots of bream. And we'll just see how that goes. Of course, that's all subject to change, but with fish number 8 in my hands, the rigs are working, the presentation's working, the bait's working. Just a case of maybe a bit of a war of attrition. Now this one is a really cool fish. I can't really show you too well because both my hands are holding up, but it's got a really stubby dorsal, which is quite cool. All very welcome, but it would be nice to try and get hold of some of the bigger stamp of fish. But keep ticking away at them, and the bream, I'm sure they will come. With the morning feeding spell seemingly slowing down, I took the opportunity to top up the swim with bait and refresh all the rods. At this point, I decided to move the right hand rod to fish alongside the middle rod on the same tree spot, focusing my efforts on the main spot that kept producing. My thinking was that getting one spot rocking would be more productive than splitting my efforts. Plus, if a bream inevitably picked up one of the rigs, I would still have one sitting there fishing for me, hopefully for a carp to come along. That's a carp. There you go. Well, I guess there's the answer on the hook bait side of things. I had the 50mm bottom bait with trimmed cell quad on top doing a load of bream. I also had the 18mm wafter with the 50mm bottom bait topper doing nothing. So I switched over to double 50mm once again, which is what did the first carp bite this morning, and this one went off. So again, I recast with double 15s on both of them onto the same spot. Within a few minutes, it had gone again with a carp, and whilst I was playing that, the left-hand rod, which is the one on the bar, also went off. That was actually on the original hook bait, and that was a carp, but unfortunately I lost it because it was a double hookup. I had to get the first one in, which is actually the one that's about to be shown next, and I lost that one into a weed bed. So unfortunately, I've lost one now, but it seems that the hook bait change is making a difference. I think I'm going to stick to the double 15 bottom baits now. It sits nicely with the rig. It's doing carp. It may still do the odd bream, but catching the odd bream lets me know that there's still bait in the area, whereas getting no bites at all on the other setup or the other hook bait choice kind of makes me start questioning what's going on. But this is proof that double 15 will catch carp, and it probably also continue to catch bream as well. Popping back down, he gave me that warning sign. Get this one back and show you the next one, which is another lovely, lovely mirror. I have bite number 1 of a double take. Unfortunately, I lost the second one, as I just mentioned, because this one took ages to get in. I could see the other one was still on because the rod kept tapping. I just did what I could, got this one in, and when I got to the other rod, it was solid in a weed bed and actually just cut me clean off. So unfortunately, that's a re-rig and get the rod back out. But another mirror, so not quite as many as the commons I've been catching. But I am happy to catch these all the same. And I'd say this one's getting close to that 20 pound mark again. Been a good average size, good fun, and it seems that the hook bait change and baiting application is starting to sway in the favour of the carp. Hope I haven't jinxed it, but let's carry on doing what we're doing. Well, it seems that the couple of changes I've made is starting to work, because not only have I changed all of my hook baits now over to double 50mm bottom baits, I've also only been topping up the swim now with whole boilie. Put no crumb and chops in it at all. There's nothing small out there that I think is bringing the bream in. It's only whole 15mm boilies. Whether that's making a difference, I don't know, or if the carp have moved in and pushed them out. But what I do know is that down there in those two nets are fish number 11 and 12. I'm going to slip the 11th one back because number 12 is slightly bigger, and they're both commons of rather similar looks. But number 12 does signify the halfway point in my mini little challenge to myself of can I catch 22 carp from catch 22. We will see. It's also worth noting at this point as well that although I've had loads of bream, don't let that put you off coming here, because the owner knows about it and his plan is to get as many of the bream out as possible. He's going to be hosting bream matches and all sorts to get as many of them that are in here out, so that when people come in and start fishing, they don't have the same sort of thing that we've been dealing with on this trip in trying to combat the bream, or at least nowhere near to the level. Excuse me, I think a fly just went in. Let's put the camera on the tripod and show you fish number 12. And here it is, fish number 12, the halfway point. Something that began as a little bit of a joke is now becoming a bit more of a challenge in my head. Not that anyone else cares whether I succeed or not, but I've set myself the target of 22 fish, and I'm off tomorrow morning, so it's going to be a big afternoon and evening. Whether I fish tonight, I do not know. But if the bream stay away and the carp keep coming, there's every chance. And what a lovely fish, lovely colour on this one as well. I have a feeling I may have just heard a clutch, and I'm not sure if I've put my alarm back on. So let's put him back and go check. With both rods on the same spot seemingly doing the trick and the weather about to change, things were looking good. But I still had a long way to go to reach my target of 22 carp, especially as I was planning to fish the days only.
I was just framing up to sit down. Carp have other ideas.
Lovely fish. Oh, here comes the lane. Oh, that's a nice fish. Nice fish. Ah! Rain is here, camera's out.
Hold on, dear. Help is on the way.
Want to get this one in though, it's a lovely mirror. I've also just realised I've done it again. My maths is way up. I was saying that fish number 12 was the halfway point. Of course it's not. Fish number 11 was the halfway point. That's the one I slipped back as well. But you know what I mean. If I get this one in, I do know that means 9 more to hit 22. And with this weather changing, this rain has arrived, pressure potentially dropping, and the rigs and bait tactics seemingly working, I think it's doable. And this is about to be number 13. Evading the net. Oh, I got a double take. I got another one. Ah. Oh yeah, that's definitely a carp on there. Come on. I don't want to lose another one for a double take. Right, that one's in. That one's in.
You know.
Got another one. Oh my days. It's all kicking off. Oh, that rain is coming down now. Well, I got another one. I got a triple take. What is going on? Come on. Cannot get this one in. Stuck on the tree. I've had some pretty mental sessions in my time, and this is up there with one of the most ridiculous. Has he come off? No, he's coming towards me. Oh my days, I'm soaked through, haven't got a rod in the water. Challenge on. Oh, he's come off. My first hook pull. Ah. Well, 13 and 14 in the net. This would have been 15. I've had a hook pull. Nothing wrong with that. I think just a case of loose clutch on the take and you got away with it. That's my first hook pull out of 16 bites from carp. Not bad going, but frustrating in terms of the challenge, but absolutely ridiculous. Oh, all twisted up, utter carnage. 2 in the net, 1 lost, as you know. Of this feeding window seemingly kicking off with the rain coming in, I'm going to quickly ping at least 1 rod back out, the one that I just lost the fish on. There's nothing wrong with the rig or anything, it's just one of those things that came off. It's wrapped back out. I'm going to get that back out on the tree line spot, because that seems to be what's doing most of the bites. Sort these fish out and game on. It's actually achievable now. I think it's doable.
I will not be compliant. If you push, I'm defiant. Just try it. It is bound to get violent when you walk this way.
Oh, and I know I'm going to get questions about what shot and hook it is that I use, because it happens every single time. So I don't want to hear whether you care about them or not. It's for those that are going to ask about what they are. They're the pole position ones. I've run out of the small ones and now onto like the medium sized ones. I like small ones because they're just, yeah, they're really discreet, do the job. And as you've seen, I've only lost 1 fish so far on this trip, and all of them have been absolutely nailed. So let's wrap this one out, get it out. That'll be all 3 rods fishing, and then we'll film those 2. And one of those, that mirror is really nice. And number 15. Oh, I'm getting soaked. Well, there is number 15. It's pouring down with rain, as you can see. I'm going to slip this one back, film those 2, because at the moment I don't have any nets free. What? I've literally put that fish back, which you just saw, sat down to get out of that shower, and the last rod is gone. And that's the one on the bar. Come on. Oi, number 16. Ridiculous. What do I look like? Also ridiculous. Soaked through. But it's going well. Well, usually you save the best till last, but I'm going to do them in the order that I caught them. And this one, I would say, is the best of the bunch. It's a mirror, which is probably why, but it looks old, gnarly, really cool scales. And again, decent size. I think at the moment, I'm guessing it around the mid to upper 20 mark. Like with a bit of bait in it and a bit of time, this is easily going to make someone very happy as a 30-pounder in the net. And there it is. Mega. I'm loving catching all these fish, of course I am. But in a lake that's predominantly full of commons and you look rather similar, catching these mirrors are very, very welcome. To see them pooing out the bait on the mat, they're enjoying the isofish and also enjoying double 15 nil hook baits. What a fish. In fact, it looks quite similar to the one I had this morning. This is where I'm going to check the footage and the edit and realise it is, but it could just be that these mirrors are quite old and quite similar looking. I'll show you both sides. And there's the other side for you. What a mega fish. And a mega afternoon's fishing. Considering I didn't fish the night last night, I only started this morning and didn't really fish all of yesterday. I feel like he's going to go. He is. I feel like I'm doing quite well on the numbers. That was very close to a slap. Let's get him back before he injures himself or me. Whew. Got the wind from that one. Fish number 2 in that double take. This is on the left-hand rod, which is on that bar, and it belted off. It felt bigger, but now we understand why. It's just long, lean, big paddle, powerful fish, these. We've got one more to go in the run of 3, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this afternoon, despite being soaked through. Such good fishing. Let's get you back. And there is the last of the run of 3, and this one is pooing all the bait all over the mat and all over me. Oh, he's doing it right now on my hand. Warm. Lovely. Let's get him up one more time for you. Look at that. In fact, you've seen him. He's pooed all over me. I'm soaked and knackered. I need a little break before we get the rods back out and see if we can get a few more of these very lively fish. Yep. You were probably watching that clip thinking, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the same fish as this morning. Well, I've just checked the scale patterns on the fish from this morning to that one, and it is exactly the same fish. Now, as it's caught again, technically it's another fish, but it is the same fish that I caught this morning. So now there's a grey area. Although I still have 6 fish to catch to get to 22, I feel like I'm going to have to catch 7 more, just so there's no grey area in that I caught 22 fish. How bizarre though, excuse me, in a lake this size, with this many fish in it, to catch the same fish from the same spot in the afternoon that I had this morning. Clearly he's liking the grub though, the hungry fish. He went back there and had some more. Poor thing. Rain is easing off a little bit, and I've taken that time just to reset everything. Things were just getting a little bit clustered. My head was all over the place. It was manic, but that meant I don't think I was going to fish very well if it continued that way. So all 3 rods are now ready to go. I think the camera's starting to steam up because of the rain. Apologies. All cinematic fluff that I like to put in videos is probably also completely gone out the window. All those rods are ready to go. I've actually cleaned up and re-greased the spools because they were getting full of grip because of all the rain, and the reels are quite low to the ground. So they've been micro-serviced on this session. Some more bait has gone out whilst it was raining, so cameras were tucked away. Now it's stopped. Rods are all clipped up. They're ready to go again. And the time is 20 past 6. And obviously it's dark by, with the light levels like this, probably 9:30, 10. I'd like to get this challenge close, at least close to complete before night, because I don't really want to fish throughout the night. I'm tired. I slept last night and that meant I fished a bit better today. I'd rather do that and then fish again tomorrow morning for the final few hours. But we'll see what the evening brings. There's fresh bait out there that's been doing its thing for the last 20 minutes or so, whilst I've got rigs all ready, fresh hooks sharpened, fresh hook baits. Everything's good. I'm feeling a bit more aligned myself because, as I said, with nets everywhere, rods everywhere, dirty reels, it just gets a bit sensory overload. But we're reset. We're ready to go again. And yeah, apologies, there's no cinematic fluff, but I'm going all out fishing attack here. Ow. Good.
Oh no, it's not.
No. Bugger. Well, I've got to go get that out of the tree now, haven't I? What a great little montage that was. We're back. Where were we? Note to self, turn alarm on. Number 17, and definitely one of the bigger commons I've had. A nice low 20 this one. And I'll be quick with it because Fish number 18 is now on the net as well, and I want to get another rod back out and capitalise on the daylight hours that we've got left. Awesome. Proper scrap from this one as well. The take was great, although the alarm wasn't on. Lovely. And number 18, another mirror. I think this puts me up to 6 mirrors actually. So really, really nice to get these in amongst the sea of commons. 4 more to go. 4 more. Can we do it? Need to get this one back. Tie up another rod and get it back out there on the tree spot. The right hand rod, which is the one tightest to the tree, still out there, which is always ideal because that means that the next rod to put out doesn't have to be slotted between the tree and a close rod. So let's get this one back. Let's see if we can get number 19. Yeah. With number 19 being the smallest of the session so far, and the fish clearly being there, I wasted no time in returning the fish and getting the rod straight back out. Double take, double take. And then again. He's tiny, but you know what, I was just doing my morning Pilates routine. It's only 8 minutes, so I'm going to stretch my back because my back is shot after today. And as I was doing that, number 20 and 21 have gone off completely different spots. Do I just leave it? Would that be poetic if that last rod there was the number 22? Nah, we need to get some rods back out. 1 to go. And there we have fish number 20. Getting cramp in my leg. My body is shutting down on me, and I've just slipped back fish number 21. Much smaller than this one. The smallest of the trip, probably only about £6. But it does mean we are 1 fish away. And this, another 20 to add to the tally. The average size has been pretty special. Oh, I have to put them down. Because my cramping is bad. But 1 to go. With my body feeling broken and the light all but gone, I just needed 1 more bite to complete my silly little challenge. No one asked me to do this, and some might say trying to catch as many as possible isn't fun. And maybe that's true for some of you. But for me, this was a personal test, a way to push myself in a more competitive way, not against anyone else, but against myself. It might sound silly, but my physical issues often frustrate me and get me down. So this was really my way of giving a big middle finger to my aches and pains, proving myself that I could still do it whilst taking the breaks and only fishing the days. So yeah, catching 22 from catch 22 had a bit of an extra meaning for me. That's a carp. They've all fought really well. And this one went off with quite some gusto on the take. It's just kind of really slow. But I've thought that a few of these fish, and then they popped up and they've been 13, 14 pound. Which I've enjoyed. But you know what it's like when you feel something that feels bigger. It's starting to feel smaller again now. When it feels bigger when you're playing it to start with, at more range, it gives you that false sense of size.
What is it? Everything is a bad size.
Ooh. Oh, sorry, there should be more grandeur with that. Get in there! Don't know how much you can see because it's pretty dark out now, but that is challenge complete. A challenge that no one asked for. You may say, a challenge that no one really cared about as well. But a challenge, nonetheless, and one I have succeeded at. Now, I know there's the grey area, and the fact that I caught the same fish twice, but I'm confident we can get more than 22 now. That is conclusively fish number 22, in my eyes. And there we have the fish that symbolises mission complete, the 22nd carp from catch 22. And for those of you that are getting in the comment section saying, oh, but you caught the same fish twice. You only had 21 fish. I caught it twice, so it still counts in my eyes. But I'm sure there's still some of you that don't feel that's just. So the rods are still out, and they will be until I go to bed. And they'll be going back out in the morning. So 22 fish is not going to be the final number, I'm sure. Just to compound the victory, hopefully we get up to, I don't know, 23, 24, 25, who knows? But we've still got a bit of fishing ahead of us. But that is, in my eyes, mission complete. And of course, it was another comment. Happy days. Oh, I'm looking forward to putting some clean, dry clothes on, getting into my sleeping bag, and getting some shut-eye now. Good morning, and I'm feeling nice and refreshed. I actually got about 7.5 hours solid sleep, much needed, so I'm feeling a bit more refreshed this morning. But all 3 rods are wrapped out, fresh baits, ready to go, because although I think I've completed the challenge, just to get rid of any kind of doubt of people saying that I caught the same fish twice, and try and catch at least one more. And my first scan of the lake this morning revealed right on the tree line, so I know there's carp there for a fact, or at least there was 5 minutes ago when that one rolled. So I could get all these out and see if we just have a couple more whilst I have my breakfast and start to pack down and trudge all the kit back to the car. Mega session, but we aren't done yet. And after a couple of token bream this morning, number 23, eliminating any kind of doubt that this is challenge complete. Catch 22, I've caught 22, and then some. What a mega session, mega place. And if you're interested, go onto the Go Catch app and get yourself booked on it, whether it's a lake exclusive in the format it's currently in, or if you want to wait a bit longer until it becomes day ticket and just bring yourself along sometime in the future. Completely up to you. But it's one thing for sure, this place is full of fish and full of bites. Time to drive home, 250 miles, but I'm looking forward to a bath, clean clothes, and some rest. Well, I couldn't possibly end on an odd number. I'll see you in the next one.